Alright, let's get this video going. If this works out like I planned it. I literally just woke up. I probably look like a wreck. But oh well, because I'm giving you guys this video this week. Woo! If that even made sense. Hey, what's up guys? It is Emily here. So I know I didn't have a video this past week, but that is because certain things got deleted off my Mac that I didn't know got deleted, so I must have accidentally deleted them without me knowing. It was a cool video, and so I was really sad. And so I'm gonna find a way to remake that video for a week in time, future, space. What? Anyway, I'm pretty sure all of you know, and if you don't know, I auditioned for The Voice not yesterday, but the Saturday before. I didn't make it, but there were a few things I took from this whole experience that I just wanted to share with you guys, because why not? There were, of course, a lot of ups, but also there were some downs, and I probably brought the downs upon myself. But I'm going to share those with you guys anyway, along with all of the plus sides of The Voice auditions. So without further ado, let's get into it now. My The Voice audition experience, woo! So the auditions were held at Minute Maid Park in downtown Houston, and we all know that place is one of the biggest places probably in all of Texas. So we get there, and we pull up, and the line wraps all the way around the building. Not just once, but twice. So we drive past a load of people, and I honestly started freaking out because I was scared I wouldn't know where the line ended. But we got lucky enough to where we found a spot where my mom or my dad could just drop me and him off, because like, okay, so my dad was driving the car, but then he went in with me like first because he was a parent that we had to like have go in. So we got extremely lucky though, because the place where my dad and I got dropped off was right next to the end of the line. And so we found the end of the line, no problem at all whatsoever. Then 30 minutes go by and we had to go from like here all the way around to here. And that wasn't a very long distance, by the way. No, it was not. And so we were standing there and 30 minutes go by and we look back and we can't even see the end of the line anymore. Like, let's just take a moment. Texans are insane. And so we waited in line, and then I became friends with the lady in front of us who was also auditioning, and so we waited outside for 3.5 hours, which wasn't all that bad if you were talking to people and listening to other people sing. Now granted, there were a few where whenever they sang you're just like, why are you here? But a few people ahead of us, there was a guy with a guitar and then two other guys, and they were all singing. They were like, Sweet Carolina, and the lady that I became friends with and I, we were like, ba ba ba. But yeah, we waited outside the building for 3.5 hours, and I was wearing heels. Just note, don't wear heels to an audition expecting not to stand up the whole time. Either that or bring a chair with you. We brought a chair with us, but I was very in the moment and didn't sit down. And so we waited outside the building for 3.5 hours, and once we finally got to the front of the line, it wasn't really the front of the line. I also forgot to mention it was 50 degrees outside, and there was a guy in an ice cream truck. He pulled up. It was 50 degrees outside, if I didn't mention that already. And people go to get ice cream. That is awful for your voice before you sing, because all the dairy and plus it being cold makes I think it's your vocal cords swell up. I'm pretty sure it swell up. B, it's 50 degrees outside. You should not have ice cream. You will die from freezing to death, because who gets ice cream in 50-degree weather? Honestly, I would have gotten ice cream too, so if you got ice cream, you were not alone. What was I? Where was I at? I don't remember where I was at. And so once we got inside after the front of the line, it was still freezing cold, and I still had to wear the blanket I was wearing, because we brought a blanket because it was so cold and I was shivering, and I was wearing a dress. Of course I had leggings underneath my dress, but it was still a dress, and so it was freezing cold and windy. But yeah, so we got inside, it was still cold, and they split us up into like 4 lines and then 3 separate lines. It was weird. It was like 1 line, 2 line, 3 line, and then within those lines there were like 4 lines, and there was an open space in between line number 2 and line number 3. And everyone was like, why is there a space? Sure enough, people from the last season of The Voice, and the season before, I guess it was the last season and the season before, they walked straight into that empty space. 5 feet away from me was standing Maddie Davis. Let me just tell you, she was my favorite last season. Like, hands down, the most talented last season, to be completely honest with you. Don't get me wrong, Jordan Smith was amazing, but like Maddie Davis for her age is just like, so she was 5 feet away from me. I didn't get a picture, but I waved, and I was the only one out of everybody there who fangirled the slightest bit. Now, is that just me, or does it seem weird to you that everybody that was auditioning for The Voice and people from The Voice showed up that everybody knew about, everybody who actually watched The Voice, but nobody at the auditions knew who they were? Really? And so yeah, we waited in line for like 30 minutes more in the split up lines, and we went into like the actual like ballpark place, and then we had to like go through like security or whatever. This is where I had officially gone insane. We brought a cooler, okay? Because they said bring snacks, bring food, bring drinks, all that stuff. So we brought a cooler, okay? So we got to the security stuff. They were checking everybody out and checking everyone's bags out and everything. So they get to us. Everything is cool. Everything is Gucci. They had the audacity, if that's even the right word, to make the conversation a little bit like this.
Sir, that is not a bag, that's a cooler. You can't bring that in, but you can leave it here, and then whenever you're done with the audition process, you can come back and have the manager pick it up for you.
Do you really think that is something a 15-year-old girl who loves food wants to hear? And so they confiscated our cooler. I had no food, I had no drinks. None of the shops were open that sold food. None of them. And then so we waited 3 more hours. Let's just take a moment. I was wearing heels. It was 50 degrees even though we were partially inside. There were no chairs around that I could sit in because they had everything blocked off. Did I already mention there was no food? And I still had 3 hours to go. Awesome. Cool, great. And so an hour and a half goes by or so, and then so I was standing in line, and there was a guy in front of me, and he like started talking to me. I don't know if like he started talking to me or I started talking to him. I don't know, either or works. And apparently he's been auditioning for American Idol and The Voice since 2007. And so he's been to every audition they've had since 2007. I don't know where I'm going with this video, honestly. And so he was like, yeah, I've been auditioning since 2007 and it's just for the experience and blah, blah, blah. And then there was a lady behind me who I talked to for a few minutes, but then she went back to having her headphones on and going a little something like this. For 2 hours straight. And then there was another lady behind me who was hilarious, and she was like, the only reason I'm doing this is because my stepmom told me to. We got split up after a few more hours into groups of 10. I think it was 10. So it was me, the guy, and then 8 other people. And so we went in, and there were like stairs. There was like the line, and then there was like a break off, and then there was like a stair thing that went like that. And then there was like tables down here, and then there was the next level. And so we like walked up those stairs, I told Luke, wait, blah, blah, blah. And then it was me, the guy, and the 8 other people. And then, so that was our group. And then I'm trying to make this video as short as possible, guys, but there was just so much that went on. And we waited outside these like hotel room looking things. They were like offices. And so we wait outside one of the offices for like a good 15 minutes or so. And me being the person I am was too in the moment to sit down. So I'm still standing up. Just keep in mind, I'm standing up this whole entire process. And so we finally get led into the room after our other group. So we all sit down in like a row. It's like there's a room, and then there was this row. I'm trying to make it to where you guys can see it. Okay, so there's a room, and then on the left side was the 10 chairs, and on the right side were like a parent side if you were minor, and then this corner over here was like the lady that was like judging us or whatever. So we all walk in single file line, and so we sit in the chairs, and of course I was the last one to walk in, so I sat in the last chair, and the guy was next to me that I became friends with didn't make it through. And in the moment I was
kind of upset. Like, I was expecting not to make it, but of course whenever you're like there and like in front of people, you're just like so we walked out and everything, blah blah blah. And so that was the end of the audition process. 6.5 hours of standing it in, like 3-inch heels later. We go to Olive Garden, have some ravioli and some bow tie cake, black tie, no, something tuxedo cake. And that was my audition experience. So all that happens on Saturday, and then Sunday comes around, the day after the audition. And so a lot of stuff happened the day after the audition, but I can't tell you guys right now because it is a complete surprise, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear about it eventually, hopefully sometime soon, because I'm tired of keeping it a surprise. So yeah. The only reason I like explained all of like the downsides of it was because I thought the downsides were hilarious, and if I didn't make it obvious I thought they were funny, then I thought they were funny. And there were a lot of plus sides too, and so overall it was a great experience, but there were a few downsides, and so I told you guys about it. And yeah, this is probably a really long video, but if you watched it until this point, thank you, and new stuff coming soon. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a huge thumbs up and share with your friends. Be sure to subscribe. I post new videos every Sunday, and if I don't post a video on a Sunday, I'm sorry. That's because I lost the editing footage, which is very unfortunate because the one I made last Sunday was my favorite video ever. And so yeah, I'm just gonna leave you guys with that. Stay awesome, stay beautiful, stay weird. Love you guys. Peace out, and I will see you next week, hopefully. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave you guys. And so he was like, yeah. And so we get to like the security stuff, and they were like checking everybody back. But a couple of people in front of us, so the auditions were held at Minute Make. I auditioned for The Voice not yesterday, but decided, and so